It's our pleasure to introduce and bring to the stage a true champion, Jonny Imerman. An example of resilience and compassion, Jonny's journey from cancer survivor to co-founder of ImmermanAngels.org has touched the lives of thousands worldwide. Through his nonprofit work and innovative ventures like CloseTalk.com, Jonny continues to amplify the voices of nonprofits, making a lasting impact in communities. With his vibrant spirit and dedication to service, let's give a heartfelt welcome to Jonny Imerman.
Thank you. That's very overly kind. Thank you. How's everybody doing? Pretty good. All right. I have to say, like, seeing young survivors of all ages, survivors come together, connect like this, share stories. I mean, you just feel the bonding in the room. It's just a beautiful thing. You know, I think so many people don't see this stuff happening. So every time I see it, I never get tired of seeing good people come together. I see you guys sharing stories. I just have a lot of love for Tamika. We sort of kind of grew up together as young adult survivors in our 20s. You guys know a little bit the beginning of, maybe some of you don't, but the beginning of when the word AYA was a word, you know, the adolescent young adults with cancer around 2001 to 2005, I'd say, was just becoming recognized as, okay, you're not a little kid, you're not 12, but you're also not 40. You're not 50, right? You're of these unique needs because you're 18 or you're 26. But that's sort of how Tamika and I have become friends. And it's beautiful for me to see this organization continue to grow. And hats off to you guys for coming out to connect. I know it takes courage. It's not always easy. I'm super open. Ask me anything you guys want to know. I'm going to keep it a little tighter because I want to do a lot of Q&A, my favorite part. And we'll talk about what you guys want to talk about. So ask me. Tamika would probably say I'm the most open male that she knows. Maybe Rocky's right up there, but we're close. No, I'm ahead of Rocky. Thank you. In that category, only in that category. But I'm very, very open. So again, my name is Jonny Imerman. I'm originally from Detroit. Yeah, it's Michigan Wolverine over here. Went to Michigan. Everyone know Michigan won the national championship this year? Yes, we do know, right? Last time they won, I was in college. Ohio people over here? Ohio, I knew it. They don't like us. It's always been that way. Spartans, they don't like us that much either. That's true. So I was a couple years out of college at 26. You know, went to the gym. I thought I ate healthy. I felt fine. I never thought about getting sick like each one of you, I'm sure. And I was with a bunch of friends. We're Saturday night, you know, I'm in a bar. We're in Ann Arbor, actually, shooting pool. I think 3 guys, 3 girls, typical Saturday night, 11 o'clock, hanging out, nothing out of the ordinary. And all of a sudden, the worst pain of my life flipped on like a light switch. And I know you all don't have this organ, but take my word for it, it's a very sensitive organ for men. And it felt like someone out of the blue took a knife and stabbed me violently in my left testicle. Excruciating pain, probably the most sensitive part of the body for a man. So I didn't know what was going on. I dropped the pool stick out of my hand. I doubled over, literally in pain, could not stand. And of course, my friends looked at me and said, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And I was like, I don't know, but I know this really, really hurts. And my friends offered to, like, you know, firemen's carry me out of the bar and drive me to the hospital. And again, males, you know, we have a little catching up to do than to the women here. You guys are generally much more open and emotive. And I said to my friends, "I'm fine, guys. I probably hurt myself in the gym and it's like delayed pain and I'll be okay. I'll take myself to the hospital." And what did I do? Stupid, but true. I start waddling like this out of the bar. And I waddled all the way down the street. I get to my car. I open the car doors. I swing my legs up. And then I realize my legs, the pain is so bad. My legs are locked in this sort of fetal position. And I'm like, I can't drive this car. I need to get to the hospital. And it hurts so bad I can barely think. And the one thing I can do is push. And I start pushing on my quads and trying to get my leg to release. And I finally get the leg down enough to be able to touch a pedal, drive the car, totally unsafe, but made it to the hospital. and you meet a doctor, run some tests, ultrasounds, blood tests, all that kind of stuff. And then he comes back in, scratches his head, sits down, crosses his legs, and says, "Listen, kid, I'm sorry you're in your 20s, but you have advanced cancer." And I didn't even know in 2001, Lance Armstrong won his first Tour de France in 99. It was just starting to be talked about, testicular cancer. And I didn't really know what it was. I barely knew who he was. And immediately went into surgery. They have to remove the testicle. That's step one. Then I had to bank sperm. As many of you all know, we have a lot of fertility issues. The young adult survivors here are going to be very in tune with that. And it was like, what's banking sperm? Well, what is this? And I learned quickly. Then I had a port that was surgically implanted into the side of my left bicep. I know some of us have ports up here. Mine was in my arm. Did anyone else have an arm port, a passport? Anyone here? No one. You had one? Temporary. Got it. Like a PICC line. That PICC line that was in there. Yes. Just a temporary. And no problems with it, hopefully. Oh, good. That's good. I like to hear that. It's the best infusion, she said, of all of them. Listen, you can't argue that. Can't argue results. That's good. It's uncommon, as you guys probably all know. It's usually the ports are up here in the chest. Went into chemo. My drugs are bleomycin, etoposide, and cisplatin. That was about 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, every day. So testicular cancer is a fast-growing cancer. Chemo can work, but it's quite a bit of it. Typical side effects I had, cystic acne at times, rashes, dryness in the skin. I'm trying to think of what else. A lot of sores in the throat. I think a lot of you guys relate to this through chemo. Of course, the mental challenges, in addition to the physical ones. But at the end of it, we thought was the end of it. At the end of chemo, they scanned me on a CT. It looked clean, but what happened was there were 4 little tumors that were behind my kidneys. So it's very unusual. After chemo, there were some tumors still there because mine had spread. Pelvis, abdomen, behind the kidneys, almost to my lungs. So at that point, we had to go in and do an incision. I have an 11-inch vertical incision from my pubic bone all the way to my sternum, pretty much. And they open you up and they move the organs out of the way, cut out the 4 tumors. They were in the lymph nodes. They were caught in the lymph nodes. Put the organs back in, stitch the stomach muscle. And then when I woke up, I had an NG tube in the nose and about 60 staples up and down. And you guys, we all have our stories and we all have all these intricacies that we all know well too well that most people don't know. But what a group of young survivors and I became focused on was all these intricacies and all these little things that happen to you and all the questions we all have when we're diagnosed. We're like, why don't we have somebody on the other side who's sharing that with us to help us, because it's new and we've never done it before. And you probably look around your friend group and you're like, oh, I'm the only cancer person, right? So a group of young survivors and I in Metro Detroit said, we're going to do something about this. We're going to create a network of survivors. Today, it's a nonprofit called Imerman Angels. We have over 14,000 cancer survivors in over 115 countries. We're the largest group we know of survivors in the world for mentoring specifically. It's all we do. It's all we're ever going to do. We partner with great organizations just like this one, just like Nancy's great group. She has a great group out of Florida. You're going to hear about it. She's awesome. We partner with every group, Live Strong, American Cancer Society, and we simply cross-refer. But what does Imerman Angels do? We find someone with cervical cancer, somebody with stage 2 esophageal cancer, somebody with brain cancer, a glioblastoma, somebody with bone cancer, osteosarcoma, or Ewing's in your right toe. Our job is to find your twin on this planet who's been there, done it, been through it, survived the chemo, or is doing well and thriving. We have a lot of thrivers that are, advanced stages, but they're living 3 years, 5 years plus, 10 sometimes. And we find somebody who's been through it to be their big sister or big brother one-on-one. And the goal is no one fights alone. It's always free. And we're a global network. so that hospitals do not have to say, okay, I'm NYU, I'm right here. As a doctor, who do I know like this patient in my practice? Because that's the alternative. That's how it works, right? Who do I know? It's on the docs or the nurses or the social workers. Like, we need a global network. We need to draw bigger. Like, it doesn't matter if somebody's in LA, in New York, or somebody's in Paris or in South Africa or Ghana. You know, if you have access to internet, you can connect and you can Zoom and you can talk and you can learn. And that's what we do. It's one-to-one mentoring. It's free always. We have 16 full-time staff. We raise about 2.1 million a year. We're small, medium sized, but we're big enough to get the job done. And that's all we really care about. And we hired a CEO who runs the organization now. I also want to mention one thing. We also help caregivers. So if anyone's a caregiver, a spouse, a daughter, a son of somebody going through any type of cancer, we can also match you and connect you with somebody else who's also been a caregiver, but their loved one is gone through it, but from the same vantage point. So it could be spouse to spouse, or my mom has cancer and your mom beat the same cancer and we're the same age, right? Just a natural connection based on journey experience, but also based on your age or your race or your religion. We've had people that call us to say, I want someone that's also Jewish, or I want someone that's Black, or someone that's Asian, or someone that speaks this language or that language, or is LGBTQ. Whatever you want, our job is to find that for you. And we are as open to anyone. We are open to everyone. It's the best way to say that. We just want to find them what they need and what's going to help them the most. It's always free. So it's always one-to-one. We do not do groups. I get that a lot. We love the cancer support community. They do great groups. Gilda's Club does great groups. We cross-refer. And I think that's key in the nonprofit space. We all own our channels, be the best, and then be friends, partner, work together, refer based on what people need. And in closing, then I want to go to Q&A, so we have some time for that. Most of my time nowadays is spent on a B Corp. Does anyone know what B Corps are? You guys know B Corps? Awesome. You guys are great. So, oh, I will. I definitely will, T. Thank you. For the ones who don't know a B Corp, don't feel bad if you don't, because it is a newer movement. It started in 2009. B Corps are companies technically, but I would say it's the closest thing to a nonprofit mission. So you have to satisfy. It took us a year to get certified. There's 6,000 in the world, about 2,500 in the US. The movement started right here in New York by 3 business people who worked on Wall Street, investment banking. And they said, we need more ethical business. We need business who cares about what's green and what's not green, sustainability, a diverse, mixed group of people. So everyone doesn't all look the same at work. We need, all these values that we want. And so B Corps have to satisfy a bunch of criteria that we're helping nonprofits, that we're either donating product or money to causes, that we're solving a social problem in addition to running a business. It's really the future of ethical business and sustainable business. So here's an example. What we created is Closed Talk, CLOZ, talk like you're closed, talk for a good cause. And we design for about almost 500 nonprofits, including Nancy's, who we love in Florida. And other ones you would know are Feeding America, Dress for Success, which is based right here in New York, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, you would know, MDA, Muscular Dystrophy Association. We designed their online Shopify store, an online store, and design their t-shirts, their hats, their hoodies in a nice way. We make them a little cooler so nonprofit doesn't have to figure out how to make them cool and make them higher quality. They're more expensive, but the goal is if they're better and cooler, people buy fewer things. So we don't have fast fashion, the cheap stuff that nobody wears ends up in the landfill, but people love it, keep it in their closet, wear it, talk about it. It's about marketing. It's about branding. And if these conversations on the ground connect us, because someone at the gym says, what's Cervivor? Like, I've never seen Survivor with a C. We want to bring people together. We want that person to learn. And we want these conversations to be about causes. So that's our mission, spreading the word for the best causes, because we believe that will bring them all the resources they need, all the support, all the money, all the corporate sponsors, everything that they need. So that's what Closed Talk does. But let me stop myself right there. Questions, guys, about anything at all. I'm very open. T will agree with me. I can say that without even asking her. Any questions, please? Don't be shy. Yeah, please tell me your name and where you're from and your question. Is it working? Do I use this one? Yeah, use this one. We're good.
My name is Larissa Sellers. I'm from Oklahoma City. I have stage 4 cervical cancer. Actually, I didn't really have a question, but I just wanted to say that I had no idea about any of this. I've never heard about it, and it's amazing. It's so fascinating to me, and I thank you for sharing, and I thank you for creating a cause like this. Going into my diagnosis, I knew zero about cervical cancer, about women's cancers, and it's been up to me to do the research. In Oklahoma City, unfortunately, at least I haven't found many resources. So it's been hard. And so just thank you. Thank you so much for doing this. And the thought of finding someone that has my diagnosis or similar is like, I didn't think that would happen. And I didn't actually think I'd meet anybody here, but excuse me, it's just wonderful. So thanks.
Thank you for the strength and being here all the way from Oklahoma, which is beautiful, and your openness. And please, use our program. That's why we built it. At any point for anyone here, of course, you want to meet other stage 4 thrivers. I mean, we know people that are living, 5, 10 years plus, and the cancer is in check and they're happy and they're active and they're doing stuff and they're traveling. I mean, I believe being engaged in community and purpose helps everybody do better, right? But they're out there, and that's our goal, is to help you make connections whenever you want them, as many as you want. We have over 14,000 survivors. There are sometimes people like you who reach out and say, well, I want to meet 5, and you can meet them all one-on-one and have 5 separate friends who are all stage 4, living with, but keeping it in check. And, no one else gets it like they do. So just know it's available. It's imermanangels.org. If you forget that, because I'm sorry, it is a hard one, you can. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, T. She's right. Thank you. You can also Google one-on-one cancer support. And because of Google, we have a grant, which I think Cervivor does too, as you should. Google does these great things to give us free keywords, basically, for no cost. And then we're ranked number 1 on one-on-ones. If you forget the name, that's fine. And it's one-on-one cancer support, you'll find us. But thank you for sharing. And we love to hook you up with somebody whenever you want that. What you do, how it works, basically, the fastest way to get the person is to sign up online, as much info as you can. Don't stress about it, but you just fill out a form with most information, your contact information, your hospital where you live, and then you set up a Calendly with one of our team members. So you already pick a time, maybe next Tuesday at noon is good for you for your lunch break at work. And then one of our team members will be on that call, and they'll talk to you, get to know you, look through our network and community, and then find you the best person. It's that simple. And, there's no pressure if it doesn't fit. Usually it fits, but if you don't think you vibe, we try our best, but sometimes if you don't vibe, that's okay. That's the beauty of a network, right? We'll find another person that you might vibe with. But our team does their best, and this is what they do all day, every day. So usually a vibe, especially with a situation like you're talking about, you're going to have a lot in common just immediately. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Questions, please, guys. No bad ones. Thank you. There's another man here. Thank you.
Yes. And I'm going to give you a run for being the most open man as well. That's the competition we need. So my name is Matt McDavid.
I like this guy already.
My most important title is that I'm Eve McDavid's husband. And I love what you're doing. Thank you. And I also have some experience setting up a mentoring program. There's a nonprofit in Manhattan called the College Reentry Program for college students who had to take a medical leave of absence because of mental health challenges. And that was a personal experience that I had in college. And so I helped create that organization. And part of that organization was a mentoring program because I never, when I was going through it, didn't know of anybody else who would ever experience that, ever come out on the other side, ever, like it just, and something that was surprising that I learned in that experience was, I mean, the benefits of mentoring for the mentee are pretty evident, you know, but I was just wondering if you could speak a little bit about the benefits for the mentors themselves, because like for me as a mentor in that program, what I found was it helped me rewrite my own trauma narrative to be able to turn that pain into purpose for somebody else. And so I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about the benefits for the mentors, as that's not as self-evident.
First of all, this guy deserves a round of applause for everyone. All right. For two reasons, maybe more. But number one, being here for her. Hats off to you. That's beautiful. But secondly, what you've created and done. And you're just a smart guy. You get it. Like everybody benefits. Everybody. The mentors benefit lots of times equally as much. And, you know, I even personally, like I realized, not that I planned on it, I realized I was healing through my cancer every time I met another 22-year-old with testicular cancer who just lost the ball and he's freaking out. And he's like, is anyone ever going to date me? I only have one. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Listen, it's going to be all right. I'm farther along than you. Let me tell you how this works. And every time you share, it helps us heal too. It's exactly right. I mean, I love that you see that. It's just it's human nature. So to your question, the two words you also used, I love, which are turning pain, you know, into purpose and finding meaning and purpose and why we go through the journey. You know, you find something positive when you realize that everything you've lived through and you've learned, every step along the way is really valuable, is literally earth-shattering to somebody who was diagnosed yesterday. Right? They don't know any of this stuff. And it's the time, it's the gratitude. Why do survivors give back? Usually it's the gratitude, right? They're there, they have a story, they have a knowledge, they can give it, but it's their time, their energy, their story for no reward. They're not going to be like written about in the newspaper or online. They're not going to get money from this. They're not going to get any benefit other than one thing, which is the satisfaction that there's purpose in their story and that they truly can change other lives, that they realize it's a power. You have a powerful thing that you can give. And through that giving is what makes people really happy. And I know those who have mentored, I met a couple people here who've mentored with us today. Thank you for doing it. But there's no doubt to your question, the mentors will benefit equally, sometimes just as much or more than the mentee. You know, again, there's purpose, there's meaning. Like, it's like, you know, every answer to the test because you've lived it, you've seen it. And the caregivers as well. Like, let's be reminded, it's not only the survivors, it's the caregivers, the husbands. They've seen it all too. They've watched, you watched your wife go through this. You know the answers. You've asked everything. You've learned. And so when somebody asks you, it's like, I don't even have to look at the test. Like, I already know all the answers. It's so easy to share it if you're comfortable, you know, no pressure on people. But I will tell you, those who give back in this way will, almost everyone, if not everyone, will report, oh my God, I'm so much happier. And sometimes, which is interesting, they will say, I feel guilty. And of course, we say, why do you feel guilty? Because I mentored this person for a year and I think I got more out of this than maybe they did. And that's literally what they say. They're like, I feel I wasn't doing this to take, I was doing this to give. And then they feel, wait, but I feel like this might have helped me more than them. And then you sort of realize, you're like, wait, everybody benefits. And that's what we tell people. It's like, they benefited. Like you said, it's obvious why the mentee benefits, but the mentor didn't expect to benefit. And then all of a sudden they feel, wow, I just feel good. I feel like I changed a life. Like, I've seen this person cross the finish line. Just, I mean, what better feeling, right? So great question. Love that you spotlighted that, because that is something that sometimes gets overlooked. And it's something that's not talked about a lot. And especially back to you, sort of putting these two questions together, the thrivers that are 8 years out, 10 years out, they benefit so much by talking to someone who's in their first year of stage 4. And they give a lot of hope, but they also benefit. They want to talk and they want to share. And yeah, a lot of it's them giving, but it's helping them too. 2 stage 4 people together, everyone's benefiting. Great question.
One
Great
more
question.
quick question before we switch.
No bad ones, guys. So far, the questions have been amazing. Anything? Anything at all? Does anyone have yeah, please, Lori.
Lori Downing. I thought when we were speaking about Imerman's Angels, do you do the experiences anymore? The like hikes, or no?
Great question. This is a great, the question is, do we do experiences? This is one of the hard lessons I've learned in the nonprofit world. I think Tamika and Nancy will back me up on this one. Own your channel and be the best at it, and stop doing what other groups are doing and let them be the best at that and cross refer. So Imerman Angels, and again, well, let me tell you, there was the day when our board, who's a lot smarter than me and a lot of smart entrepreneurs in the business world, grabbed me by the neck and they're like, this is great, but we're going to sink the ship and it's going to be your fault, Jonny. And they were exactly right, because we were talking about this earlier, Lori, being vision people, and this is shiny and this person needs help and that person, like, you want to do it all. But the reality is you got to stop that. They're like, we can do everything. No, we can do anything, but we can't do everything. I still can hear it from my board members. And they were right. You got to be focused. And so we stopped doing any sort of retreats or weekend get-togethers, even conferences. We decided to do nothing else except one-on-one mentoring, because it's a lot. And we love it, but it's hard, and we want to make the right matches. And how do we make our tech better so we're finding the right people faster? And how are we reaching more survivors? Because we have 14,000. Well, there's 14 million plus out there. Like, how do we recruit more? Like, we have enough to do. And I think that's a better nonprofit landscape when everyone owns their channel. So all we do now, Lori, is simply one-to-one, point-to-point, any two people for a good match anywhere in the world, always free. Caregivers, those going through it, thrivers, you lose somebody to cancer and you lose your kid to cancer. It's a sad reality. It happens sometimes. Find them another mom that says, I lost my kid to cancer, but I'm 10 years ahead of you. Here's how I healed. I mean, who else knows? So that's enough for us. I learned that through mistakes. Stick to the plan. We do program A. There's no B or C, and there never will be. I mean, I can't imagine there ever would be. I mean, we have a whole board, but I can't. We're all on that page.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Jonny.
you. Thanks, guys, and be well. Wish everybody well. Thank you for having me. And Tamika's amazing.
If you have any further questions for him, please be sure to post them in the parking lot. Oh, hold on.
Am I coming up with you? All right, let's do it.
Can I borrow your mic?
Yes, absolutely.
So I wanted to take a minute. Jonny has talked about, you can sit, I'm not sitting. How long we've known each other. We used to do all the dating and sex talks for Stupid Cancer and CancerCon and a few other places. Those were fun.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember one of the places where we did our sex and cancer talks?
We did some in Austin. We did some in New York.
The ones in Vegas.
We did Vegas for sure.
In the Playboy room.
Oh, we did. That's a true story.
Yeah, if you ever heard those talks, you talk about having two people very open.
Yes.
We shared a lot. But that's not why I have you here. I have you here also because whenever I call on you, you answer. You never ask why. During the pandemic, when we had to shift and people were feeling down, and I was like, yeah, I bring joy, but you're a joy maker. And also in this nonprofit world, you know how it can be sometimes. And you're always a friend. I know you do. When you say I love you, I know you mean it, and you know I love you.
I'm gonna cry right now.
Yeah.
You want us to cry together.
You send me encouraging words. You make sure that I am good. You always ask about Rocky.
Rocky's man.
And you always ask about how this is going. You never ask for anything in return. In this world, what I value most are true heart-centered relationships. And I thank you for being a personal friend. I thank you whenever I give speeches, and if you've heard me say this, I say, my friend Jonny always says that there are cracks in the foundation. You said to me to this almost 2 decades ago, and we don't have to fix everything, but if we each take a little part in the foundation, we can heal this world. So I stay in my lane, healing the world here, doing good. I try to use my reusable bottle like you taught me as much as possible.
Good job.
I'm not wearing the same t-shirt and the same color every day. I do eat non-meat stuff, but I am still a meatitarian.
That's it.
But you have given me so much, and I appreciate you and I love you. And you don't need anything. You don't like excess. Again, you don't want things in the landfill. And I really thought about doing something else, but I really wanted to also give you this thing that means so much to me, because, and I know you don't like material things. I know you don't. I know you don't, but I love you so very much, and I'm so appreciative of you. And you make me want to be a better human. You make me want to do more, to leave a little legacy behind of the little bit of good that I did in the world. And I love you, and I thank you.
What she's done for people, I've seen it for 20 years. Seen it for 20 years. What Tamika has done from people, taking time, taking weekends to go to conferences, be there for people. Everything you said, I feel the same way about you. We're lucky, and that, you know, let that be something for everyone. Like, these are the relationships in the cancer world. It's just different. You know, it is different. We've all shared this common journey, but the leaders like Tamika, she's right when she says, if she reaches out to me, I'm like, what are we doing? That's it. I'll always be that way. That's a lifetime guarantee. So let's hear it for Tamika and this team. Yes. No, team. And all of you guys.